Billionaires. I am Liz Donatelli. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance, the #1 romance novel talk show on YouTube. New York Times bestselling author ANNIKA MARTIN joins the show to discuss her rom-com, Just Not That Into Billionaires, book 6 in Billionaires of Manhattan romance series. ANNIKA also chats about the whimsically energetic relationship between her protagonists. She reveals a surprising research fact and gives a brief tour of her office. Then, ANNIKA and I compete in a non-competitive HUMBLEBRAG contest. Enjoy, and be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hi, ANNIKA. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance.
Hey, Liz. Thank you so much for having me.
It is a pleasure. Congrats on the release of Just Not That Into Billionaires. Book 6 in Billionaires of Manhattan series. How many books do you have left to go?
You know, I don't know. I really love writing them, so I'm just keeping writing them.
Okay.
The other day I was like, how many billionaires are there in Manhattan? So I actually looked it up and there's 330 something. So that would be my ceiling.
Wow. So this could go on for a long time.
I might run through them all.
Well, I would love to see that happen. Could you describe the overarching theme of Billionaires of Manhattan?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. You know, I think it's more like an overarching sort of thing that I love to write, which is enemies to lovers. And I love where like a heroine is, you know, spunky and fun and like is really herself. And I like, you know, an arrogant, like hot guys. And I love when she's like takes a pin and pokes the air out of him, you know, and then like he turns out okay once he gets over his arrogance. Like I don't know why that's a theme I keep returning over and over to, but I guess if there was a theme of it, that would be it. Is maybe it's evil of me, like bringing arrogant guys down one at a time.
That works for me.
The truth is that my first book was called Most Eligible Bastard, which I thought was kind of a fun, you know, twisty title. But readers, like I feel like readers kind of shied away from having a swear word, and the cover, you know, Amazon and Facebook don't love it. And so then when I was coming out with book 2, I was like, you know, and my PR girl, she was like, yeah, you don't want a cuss word in there. And so then we kind of came up with the billionaire thing just because people seem to like books with billionaires. And I was like, well, you know, the first guy was a billionaire and the second guy kind of was too. So I just called it that. And I do sometimes like not love that it's about billionaires because, you know, billionaires are kind of controversial. I don't know. I'm not that thrilled with billionaires and what they're doing in the world, but that is what the series is called.
Well, that ties into your theme. That ties into your theme, which is to, you know, bring billionaires down a notch.
Oh, I'm fighting the billionaires with this little series.
Yeah. So this is a much more serious rom-com series than one would think, because you're really trying to be like, hey, billionaires, I see you, billionaires.
Well, it's sort of like these two people were kind of frenemies. They both worked in Vegas this summer on this big show, and they were sort of frenemies. But one night they got drunk and got married, but they didn't realize it was actually a real wedding. And then 10 years later, and he knew the whole time he was secretly in love with her, but she didn't. And then she's got a ballet career, and she has to, you know, get her papers to go overseas. And she finds out she's married, and so in order to get her papers together, she has to get a divorce. And so she tracks him down, and he had been this nerd, but now he's like this wolfish billionaire. And he's like, yeah, I'll give you your divorce papers if you play my adoring wife for 3 weeks. And she's, you know, like, what? And so then it goes on from there. And right. She has to, you know, and he's like, he really just wants, he has a lot of secrets, like as what things have happened. But anyway, yeah, so it's a Vegas wedding that they didn't know it was true. And when I was researching this book, I was like, you know, what could this really happen? And do you know the comedian Janine Garofalo?
Yes, I do.
Reality Bites, and
yeah,
you know, that happened to her with one of the writers from Big Bang Theory. She was married and they didn't know.
Get out. out.
I know, isn't that funny?
If there's anyone who hates on the book by saying it would never happen in real life and that's bizarre, you could say,
Exactly.
It can happen, and it did.
Yes.
Francine and Benny, I love them so much. They frequently refer to themselves as being weird, and people, refer to them as being weird, but I call them whimsically synergetic.
Oh, I love that.
So they communicate and connect with each other by talking in the third person, by engaging in humble brag contests about their pretend children. And I adored every minute of it because my husband and I have some kind of quirky ways that we relate to each other that people would probably think we were insane. So I was all in on this relationship. What inspired this whimsical synergism between the two?
Oh, that's a really good question. I was more thinking, how would people who are kind of outside of them, like ostensibly they don't like each other, like he's the nerd tech guy and she's a ballerina in the show. And so they're like, but like, how would they sort of interact? That's got sort of sparks. It's not like an affectionate interaction, but it's also like an interaction where they're kind of getting to know each other. There's this director that, is always humble bragging. So sometimes she mocks him and she's like, oh, I have a child who's like so tedious because she's so amazing at French, and how can I keep up with her? And then finally Benny is like always listening and kind of scowling, and he's just a scowly guy. And so finally he starts humble bragging. So they have this whole relationship through humble bragging where he'll be like, well, I have a child that, and everyone's shocked at first when he does that, but then she kind of goes with it because they secretly are attracted. You know how it is with enemies to lovers. They're like a little angry, but they're also secretly attracted to each other. So they have this like entire weird humble brag relationship that sort of spans their 10 years ago thing. And then they kind of pick it up in present time a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I loved it. And the sarcasm was spot on, and the verbal sparring. It was such a delight to read. Number one, getting up from a lying position without using your arms will make you live longer. Is this true?
Yes. Well, okay, I didn't find it. My husband told it to me. He's like super into health. And so he I think it's like a sort of a measurement of it's a measurement of longevity. It's a longevity marker more than a longevity creator. It's like if you have sort of the physical capacity to get up from a laying position without your arms, it just means things are working.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know. Okay. My husband claims this. And I thought, well, that's something that a ballerina might say. Okay. Who's like really into physical fitness, like she might know it.
Number two, a wolf nerdy male protagonist like Benny is super hot. Can you tell me why I feel like that? Because I was so obsessed with this wolf nerdy. Like when I read it, I was like, oh, that's a great descriptor. So what is it about wolf nerdy that has me so titillated?
I know, I don't know, and that actually my friend Molly O'Keefe, who's an author, I was talking about the plot with her, and she's the one that came up with that. Like he's like a nerd in wolf's clothing, and I was like, I felt like that too. I was like, oh yeah. I feel like, I think maybe it goes back to sort of the alpha, like the alpha guy who only shows his soft side to someone else or protects it, like they've got something inside that they're protecting or shell, and you just want to break through it. I don't know. It's a mystery though, isn't it? Why? Why is it? Because a wolf is also aggressive.
Right. Yeah, I know, but it works. I was like, wolf nerdy. This is a thing. I love it. Number three, to be drunk on impossible things is a far more dangerous drink. I highlighted this line in my e-reader. I could definitely see the wisdom in it. It really struck a chord. Does that resonate with you personally? I thought that was such a gem.
He was feeling like it was impossible to have her.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the instance was.
Yes.
So it was more coming. I feel like it's maybe you do want to be drunk on impossible things in life. I maybe that's something that would be actually positive. But in that moment, he was feeling like it was dangerous to be wanting something you couldn't have.
Right. I really sat there and was thinking about it. And I was like, well, and I immediately connected to that, even though I know that's like the negative side of the coin. The other side is having impossible, desires could lead to greatness. Who knows?
Right. What fun is being drunk on possible things?
Right. So I understand that you recently moved and you have a new office, and that there is a picture that you'd like to share.
Okay, so like I haven't had my own office forever, and so we bought our first single family home because we've always lived in tiny places, and my office was the living room. So I have my own office, so I'm like, oh my god, I get to decorate it however I want. And like right now it's like not decorated at all. And then so there's this picture. Okay, I'll just bring you over. Like, okay, here's an office tour. Like it's a bit barren. As you see, here's my messy closet. It's like this, there's not much going on. But here,
okay,
wait here, there.
All right.
It's like a really old school picture that an elderly aunt painted of me. It's like me. But anyway, I always think it's like, I always got a kick out of it. Like I just always liked it. And my husband thinks like the eyes follow him around the room because it used to be in our living room. Okay, it is so tedious to be writing enemies to lovers billionaire romance. I have to sit there imagining ways to torture hot, arrogant guys. Who wants to spend all their time doing that?
I so hate taking photos with celebrities. I always come out looking like an overexcited fangirl. It's a good thing that I turned down actor Willem Dafoe's offer to take a picture with him, which is actually true. My brother still teases me that Willem Dafoe asked if I wanted to join him in a picture with my brother and his friend. I was like, no, that's okay. I bet for about 12 hours afterwards, Willem Dafoe was questioning why I wouldn't pose with him. I don't know.
My cats are so bothersome. They are just so attached to me. They think I'm the most brilliant creature that walked the earth.
That's a good one. I'm always so confounded when everyone I meet is shocked that I'm in my 40s. They say I don't look a day over 33, but that's ridiculous. I could probably pass for 35.
That's a good one.
Maybe I do like bragging about myself. You know, Annika, being an awesome YouTube show host can be such a drag because nobody can ever really understand the burden of success.
Oh, well, I suppose. But you know what's even worse is being a wildly successful author. Nobody really ever can understand the burden of my success.
It has been such a delight, Annika. Thank you so much for joining me here.
Oh my God, this was so much fun. Thank you for having me.